Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink! Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we share our take on the sale of Wilderness Trail to Campari. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Bo Cumberland, Ryan Thompson, and Nate Weiniger.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Steve?
Hey, so we're going to have a good show today. We're going to be talking about Wilderness Trail. We'll be sharing what our take on that is. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, Ryan said there's something he wanted to talk about. He says it's a weird one. We'll see. What do you got, Ryan?
I got a little odd one here. Kind of want to throw out to the group and get some opinions on here. So when you have a dream about a person
Yes.
that you know pretty well, and maybe it's a PG dream, maybe not, but you wake up the next day and tell them? Like, do you share, like, dude, I had a dream about you, or hey, I got to chat with you. You know, this dream was scary last night, and you were in it, or what? What happens when you wake up from that dream?
Yeah, I would tell, of course. Yeah, well, I'm an open book, so yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. I just say what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just,
fair enough.
Yeah, I think.
What happened last night?
Yeah. Well, what about you, McNew?
So I'm into some weird shit. I definitely love some dream theory. I have this weird thing where it'll be somebody I have not spoken to or seen in years. I will dream about them and then literally hear from them a week or so later. So that always trips me out. It happens quite often. But if it's somebody I'm still in contact with and I have a dream about them, I'll just be like, hey, had a dream about you. What's up? Start a conversation. That's fine. If it weren't PG, I'd probably keep that to myself.
Really? Really?
But yeah, I would still be like, hey, had a dream about you. What's up? How's life going? I think that's fine.
What about if it was about Demetrius from Nobleton's?
Oh, I would just say, hey, no. Probably
well, oddly, whenever we have an event with him in there, suddenly the room is full and it's all ladies. I had no idea Demetrius was considered hot until just the guy I hang out with. And then one of the ladies told me, and then I started asking all the other ladies, like, oh yeah. Kathy Cool shows up 2 hours early. Yeah. Full makeup on. I had no idea. Okay. So yeah, you wouldn't say anything, huh, McNew?
No, I mean, there's no point in it. No.
Okay. All right. Bo, how about you, man?
I don't know. It depends. If it's like a cool dream where,
Right.
A
I won the lottery. And
yeah, cool dream like that. But
okay.
I have had some R-rated dreams of hookers or stuff, and I can't even look them in the eye when I go to work.
You say hookers or coworkers?
Do what?
What did you say? You've had some R-rated dreams of what?
Coworkers.
Oh, coworkers.
It almost sounded like hookers. I
thought hookers. I thought you saw a hooker and you're like,
damn, Bo.
Yeah, I had a dream.
Pretty Woman.
When that happens,
right after watching Pretty Woman.
I can't even look at them.
dreams are weird.
I'm definitely not saying anything in those instances. I'm like, I will keep that to myself.
I had an ongoing dream. This has nothing to do with the topic, but for years I kept having this dream that I had like this this weird hidden room in my house, and I would forget where it's at, and I would stumble upon it, and it would be just like, it was like falling apart too. It had like, it needed to be worked on. It had like holes in the thing, and I would be like, I gotta fix this room up, and then I would forget where it's at, and then I'd have a dream about the same room like 6 months later, but I haven't had a dream about that in a while. So maybe the room got fixed up. I don't know. It seems okay now. Yeah. How about you, Nate? Any dreams about people? And do you tell them if they appear in your dreams?
No, I don't tell people, but definitely sometimes I look things up to see like meaning, kind of like McNew was talking about. And
right.
Most of the time after I do that, I scare the shit out of myself, and I'm like, oh God, something's gonna happen to that person, and then usually it does. So. No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen. It never happens. But I don't tell people about it. And I honestly do look stuff up sometimes just for fun and stuff. And I think it is interesting, some of the stuff that's been written about dreams and some of that, some of those things that you have when you're sleeping. But no.
Yeah. Ryan, you asked the question. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
I'm 50-50, I think. If I just recently had it's a PG rated dream about an employee, and we were just sitting there working. He was like a younger self than I've ever known him, but it was the employee, and we were just sitting there working, having a good time, chatting away. And I woke up, I'm like, well, that was weird. Like it was one of my dudes, but he was like a 20 years younger version of it. But I didn't know when he was 20 years younger, but I knew it was him still, and so that was just But we were just sitting there working away, having a good time. And so that was a little odd. I haven't told him yet, but I probably will,
Okay.
But,
yeah.
I think I typically tell people when I dream about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of it on the other foot. If I'm sitting there and someone comes up and tells me they had a dream about me, what do I think? And I don't know. It never seems like it. Just seems like it's weird.
Well,
mine always said they had.
Do tell.
Yeah. Mine is always like I had a nightmare about you, Steve.
Yeah, right.
There's nobody dreaming about me. That's not happening. So. Yeah.
I was sending Steve meanings about dreaming about rooms because I like to look those up too. Weird dream. What did it mean? Like I'm
gonna have to read. That's a lot of reading. I'll have to read that offline. Then, yeah.
I've had one of those, Steve, just like that though, where I found a new room in my house that I didn't know.
Really? So let's just say that's a thing.
I've had it. I've had it a few times. It
was like this weird. It was like this little staircase I never noticed, and there it is. And I go up there, and like I said, you could see the walls weren't gonna. You could kind of see out, and it was like it needs paneling or something's. It needs siding, and
mine wasn't falling apart, but it was like it was a whole wing to the house that I hadn't been in, and I was like wandering in there, like what is going on? Where is this? Why have not?
That's wild. Okay, I didn't know this is a thing. Okay,
you guys need to dig into this one a little bit. I think.
Yeah. Curious. Yeah. I didn't know that was common, like your teeth falling out or something.
That's another one, yeah. Or chewing and then your teeth are falling out. Yeah, that's on.
Yeah. Chewing and the teeth are falling out.
Sure, it has nothing to do with stress, but who knows?
No. All right. Well, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? We're going to start with Bocephus, Beauregard, Cumberland.
All right. Tonight, I just have just one of my favorite.
Remember when I'd always say that Bocephus Beauregard, people would ask, is that really his name? And I'd be like, he's from Mississippi. And they'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Then once I said he's from Mississippi, they'd be like, oh, okay.
Oh, makes sense.
Why that explains it, I don't know. That
makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
I'm just going with a traditional, one of my favorite everyday drinkers, just the traditional bullet bourbon.
Okay. Let's see what we got here.
We'll put it down.
No, squeak. No pop at all.
I picked all my squeaky bottles tonight for some reason.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
I'm going a little resilient bottle and bond.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what we got here.
Okay. That's our leader. That's our leader. It's
that leads? That was nothing.
Well, I didn't hear anything from Bose. I heard the squeak. At least I heard something there, something that resembled something. I don't know. I've got Remus Reserve here. This is batch four. An oldie but a goodie. Here we go. Terrible, but that's the lead. That's where we're at. This one.
That's for the worst right there, Steve.
This one can be won easily. So let's see what Nate comes up with. What do you got, Nate?
Let's see. I've got a Smoke Wagon private pick from about 2 years ago.
Okay. Somewhere in there.
God, it's like that thing stuck alone.
Okay. Basie. Basie. We're going to.
Is it open? Did you open it?
Yeah, that was open. I had trouble opening it. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was,
right. Well, I'm giving you the lead. Mine was so bad. I'm going to give you the lead.
Oh, wow. That's great. Thank you.
That was generous. All right. McNew, what do you got?
All right, this is one I just grabbed because I liked the design. It's Alias by MGP or Ross and Squibb, I guess. It was a pretty bottle.
Well, that wins easily. That's a good one. There you go.
Glad you guys actually heard that one. My other one was good too.
Yeah. I talked to someone high up at MGP, and I said, "What do you think about this name, Ross and Squibb?" And he's like, "We don't fucking use that."
Yeah, I was like,
because I noticed he said MGP, and I'm like, I have to ask you something. Is this MGP thing? Shouldn't it be Ross and Squibb? He's like, no, we don't use that. That's a market. Yeah, so there you
nobody
go.
likes it. Nobody likes that
No,
name.
exactly. I don't have to feel bad anymore. To me, it's always going to be MGP. So there you go. Cheers, gang.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Wilderness Trail, our take on it. No insider information, anything like that. We're just talking about what we feel about it. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Scott Pinkowski is unavailable. Would you like to? I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say right now.
He's listening to the Bourbon Daily. It's got to be the Bourbon Daily.
Bourbon Daily.
Peace.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the sale of Wilderness Trail to Campari.
Yes, we are. So Campari buys Wilderness Trail, buy a majority stake right now, and then they got the option to buy the rest of it. Not sure why they don't buy it all to begin with, but whatever reason, who knows? But my take on this is, mixed reaction for sure. I'm happy for Dr. Pat and Shane Baker. I like those guys, and this has to be just life-changing money. And they're doing well anyway. They got two excellent businesses there, but when you sell out a company for that type of money, that has to be just life-changing. So I'm excited for them. But and that's on just a personal basis. From a bourbon fan perspective, I just can't help but think this is a bad thing. These consolidations with these conglomerates and these big global companies, I don't think it's a good thing. I just come from corporate America, and I know what a corporation's like versus a small mom and pop company. And you could say, well, Wilderness Trail's not small mom and pop. Yes, they are compared to the company they got bought out by. And I just don't think it's good long term. But what do you guys think about this whole situation?
Well, I'll take the lead on this and echo your words with Dr. Pat. I don't know his business partner there. I've heard his name, but I've never met him. But certainly I've crossed paths with Dr. Pat, not only one of the smartest guys in the business, but one of the nicest as well.
Yeah.
So kudos to him and to his business partner. And I mean, who knows what the equity breakdown was amongst everybody there and all the investors. But my heart kind of broke a little bit. And I don't know, I hope this doesn't happen just with the thought of Dr. Pat not being in the business after 2031. I certainly hope that's not going to be the case. He brings a lot of value and is a huge asset to the business, to the industry overall. And so just from a selfish point of view, I hope he's not going anywhere. But if he does, if he's going to the beach and hanging it up, then more power to him. But I think he is just a huge asset in the industry, and congrats to him. But I don't want to see him going anywhere is what it comes down to. So
yeah. Nate, what do you think? You're pretty involved in all this kind of bourbon stuff. And what do you think as you see a big brand, from the craft side of the business, and you can say, well, they're technically on the heritage trail. It doesn't matter. They're to me, the true heritage are the, 6 or 7 bourbon companies that were there when they started the bourbon trail, the old school ones, and anybody else is new to the game and in a different ballpark, I think.
Yeah. One, I think it's impressive what they built there.
Absolutely. 100%. And whatever they got out of it, they deserve. Yeah.
I mean, I heard it was one of the 14th largest distilleries in the country.
Yeah.
So, obviously, that took a lot of time, effort, and
investing their own resources, their own capital. Yeah.
I mean, they took probably a lot of risk in the beginning to get to that and to build something that fantastic.
On a personal basis, you can't help but be happy for them because what they did worked. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think I would be, for me, whatever they wanted, that if that's what their end goal was to build something and then, look for a buyer or hope for a buyer or something like that. I'm not sure, what their end goal was in it, but I know that he's passionate. I've met, Dr. Heist multiple times, and he is he's great for the industry. He's one of those people that's a leader. He's connected several places. I mean, the work that he does with yeast and all these things, fantastic. And I'm actually really happy for him, and I'm not surprised. I think this will happen more. I'm not sure how. We've seen some of these big sales of distilleries or brands here of recent, and they have a lot of inventory there, and I think that some of these bigger companies, it's
so is all that aside, you're answering kind of the same way I did, at least from the perspective of you're happy for the individuals because you like them, and I like them too.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier for what's happened for them. Is this good for bourbon fans though? As these bigger companies start snapping up these independent brands, is this going to be good for the industry long term?
I think it's always, diversity is always good. I think that having multiple options is good, and having a lot of people, I never think that a monopoly is the best way, right? Because usually a monopoly changes the diversity a little bit, right? But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if this continues to be a trend and what happens.
Because days after that was announced, then we get Balcones being bought out. Another.
Exactly.
Another kind of fan favorite.
Balcones, and so it's interesting.
And they're bought up by Diageo again, another global conglomerate, huge company buys out. This kind of mid-size, let's just call it mid-size for what they are. So yeah. Bo, what's your take on all this?
I look at it two ways. The first way is kind of like what you guys are talking about, but I mean, you think about it from a human standpoint. If like Steve, you're not willing, you're not ready to sell out the ABV network, but if somebody came up to you and said, I'll give you 600 million for it, yeah, you probably would do that. And so,
well, it'd be crazy. I would be. Yeah.
So humanly speaking, I mean, it's good for them in that way. But the way I look at it is when I look at these, like you're talking about these smaller craft distilleries, I look at it like it's like your best friend, right? So you have this friend that you invest in, and you guys talk and share secrets. This person becomes instantly like mega famous. You lose that. Like you're happy to see them go on the the big stage and be popular and whatever, but then you lose what you had with them. So I think the real bourbon fans are going to lose something.
Oh yeah.
But what's gained is, it's going to be distributed worldwide, and all that kind of plays into it. So the brand will be recognized probably even further than it is now, but you lose that intimacy. And so,
right.
I don't. If I had to say yes or no, do I like it or not? I don't like it because like we're talking earlier tonight, the people that are really vested in this, we're losing something. The world may be gaining something, but we're losing something. And so I don't like it for that reason.
Yeah, I don't like it for that reason either. We can always look to the beer industry because the beer industry is ahead of the bourbon industry. And we've seen kind of the same things. We've seen it grow up. We saw, where it's just starting and craft bourbon was kind of a joke. People like, how many high profile people, even in the, bourbon industry would use the saying, I'll never drink craft whiskey because it's no better than Evan Williams Black Label. I can think of one of the biggest names in the world of bourbon used to say that. But now craft is kind of driving things and kind of where it's at. And we've seen that happen in bourbon. But then, of course, what happened in beer is they start getting snatched up. And does that change things? Is Goose Island as well respected when it was an individual entity on its own? Or is it more respected now? Do people feel good about Goose Island now that it's owned by Anheuser-Busch, when they got bought out by them? And I don't feel like people treat it the same way. I think most people now can't stand that company. The true bourbon, the true beer fans are they'll make fun of you if you post something about, Bourbon County Stout, which I happen to like. And they're like, oh, that's Anheuser-Busch. It's crap. They just write it off then. And, is that going to start happening to these brands that we were like? Or is Wilderness Trail? It's not happened yet. But again, this just happened. But, 5 years down the road, when I say, hey, I just got this new from Wilderness Trail, people are going to be like, yeah, that's the same thing that's basically just another bullet, is what that is. Different mash bill maybe, but it's, so I don't know. I think that can be the downside is that, they lose some of that identity that what makes them unique.
And to take it just a little bit further, I just want to point out too that, a month ago, Steve, you could have called Dr. Heist or whatever and said, hey, we'd like to come to your distillery and film something and do a yeast documentary. And, I'm sure he would have been like, yeah, let's do it. But now when you introduce corporate America into it, he doesn't get to make that decision. Now it's got to go through corporate lawyers and corporate this.
Yeah. Remember when we made Kindred Spirits and we were going to Dixon Dedman? This is before they got bought out. And then in the meantime, as we're getting ready to make this thing, they get bought out. And now also we got to go to Russia. Literally, we had to go to a guy in Russia to get it approved for us to be able to film there. And it came down to like the day where I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Do we have permission to do this? Because Dixon was like, hey, I can't give you guys permission to do anything anymore. And then I finally got the word. It's okay. So things change. Yeah. McNew, what do you think about this?
Like similar feelings, like very happy for them as people. They worked hard, like they deserve that life-changing money. I'm so excited for them. But I am a very vocal hater of the corporate world. So I hope the employees that are staying, I hope they're still treated well and they're not seeing a lot of difference in their world, because going from a small company to corporate is like probably not going to be a good time for anybody.
Yeah.
But
it might sound good initially because all of a sudden they, bigger company, there's different benefits packages and all this kind of, you're like, oh man, this is cool. But then you realize, hey, when you want to do something, it's not go talk to Dr. Pat or Shane Baker. It's all of a sudden you got to run it up the chain of command. And
it's like a grass is greener situation, but I'm very excited for them. I don't think it's going to hurt the brand at all. And everybody's weird about change at first. So I think it's like wait and see sort of situation.
Yeah, it is definitely a wait and see. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, what do you think about Kentucky Owl 5 years ago versus where they're at today? You think they're better off today being owned by a big company, or you think they were better off when they're kind of this
honestly made any difference for them?
I think they're way different. I mean. They used to have this kind of excitement about the stuff. Now it's kind of, the price has gone up, and I don't know if the quality is good, but I hope for good things for them. But and I understand they're still going to try to build their distillery. We'll see what happens. So we'll see. All right. On that note, all we could do is TBD, right? We don't know. We don't know what's going on with this. We'll see what happens. And I think the best thing that they can do is kind of be hands off and keep Shane and Pat involved. Hopefully they stay involved with that brand and just allow them to do what they do. I mean, they got it to this point, now maybe they're just employees, but pay them and make them happy and keep that brand going, because it's a great brand. Wilderness Trail is awesome. So.
It was kind of just like, I didn't never read the details of it, but it was like, hey, we're going to buy you. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, I hope they don't come in and make a lot of changes, but I just hope they funnel money into what they want, what Dr. Pat want to do.
Yeah. The Wharton's company is owned by Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in the world, and he has a hands-off approach with the businesses that he owns. As long as they're making money and sending him the money at the end of the thing, he doesn't get involved in overseeing them.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
Do the same thing. You got a good thing with that Wilderness Trail team. Obviously, it's a good team that's in place there. Let them do their thing. That's what I would say. Not that I have any say in this.
Stay out of their way.
That's what I would tell them.
Stay out of their way. That's what you need to do.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Nate, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find us on Instagram at 5280 Whiskey and hidden_barn, or at hiddenbarnwhiskey.com.
All right. Bo.
I'm on most social media as My Journey Through the American Spirits, and Facebook and YouTube under Bourbon Sasquatch.
All right. Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey, and our website is 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
All right. McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right. I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com, but I've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. We do a good job of putting all of our shows out there, our events, our shop, everything at abvnetwork.com, other than my other business, the ABV Barrel Shop. But the good news about that is come by and visit us. Heck, we may be podcasting in there. You never know what's going to be happening there. So check us out, abvbarrelshop.com. We got all kinds of events, things like that happening. McNew will be there soon doing a personal event. So yeah, good stuff.
I am coming to make gift baskets soon.
She is, but she'll be there. So yeah, abvbarrelshop.com. All right, McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. Fridays, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.